All right, a little technical difficulties, and we're back. Let's start the audio recording here again. And 3, 2, 1, boom.
So I personally feel amazing when I supplement with bone broth. It's a little bit pricey, but bone broth is full of a ton of nutrients, specifically glycine and collagen that you wouldn't get. I was just talking about before we got cut off. I was just talking about people wanting to do the carnivore diet and only eating muscle meats. You're going to kind of run into some issues with over-consuming, stuff like methionine, for example. It's a nutrient that's highly found in muscle meats only, which you need, but over-consuming that could cause some issues. So, bone broth, for anybody wanting to do the carnivore approach, or anybody in general, I think bone broth is just great. Collagen, as we know, is really good for your own connective tissue, joints, tendons. It's even really good for your stomach lining. A lot of people that have IBS and along those lines can notice some real benefits from adding some collagen to their diets.
My doctors had me start including collagen in my diet after I had reconstructive hip surgery because I tore my labrum in a bunch of different places, and I had a couple other small fractures, and in my shoulder too. I tore my rotator cuff, my labrum, and my biceps tendon, so all connective tissue possible in the shoulder I tore, and they all told me, your recovery definitely needs to include collagen, so I obeyed because I'm a good patient. And it worked, I mean, it helps, it definitely helps. It's something you can't get from really anything else.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, typically the foods you would get collagen from would be, stuff like bone marrow and tendons, if you're eating that. A lot of fish bones, things along those lines.
You said it, bone broth can be a little pricey, and obviously I'm not going to disagree with that. What I am going to say though, just to clarify,
health is wealth.
Yes, are you going to invest? It's not like you buying bone broth is going to put you in debt. Let's not get ridiculous here.
No.
Or any healthy food is not going to put you in debt.
Dude.
Are you going to invest in your health now, or are you going to eat really cheap fast food or unhealthy food and then pay $50,000 for your heart surgery when you're 60? Or for whatever else health is, because when your health starts to decline, it's not free.
How much is an average Starbucks latte every day?
Oh gosh, the amount of people who have the audacity to complain about a $5 coffee they got that was messed up, they make this has happened so many times to me since I moved back here. I don't know what it is about Kansas City, dude. Everyone in San Diego is like, oh, chill, dude, it's all good,
Yeah.
Here, dude, some people, the cojones they have on them, to make the poor little girl or guy who is the barista making their coffee, they had like one little mistake, or maybe there wasn't enough ice in it. I'm like, are you? And a lot of times I just sit there, but anyways, that's a side topic. Yeah. Sometimes I do jump in and be like, dude, you realize what you're complaining about?
Putting that money into a nice.
Correct. And so many people listening to this now or in the future are watching. And people who Taylor and I talk to who are just trying to become healthy, one of the first things they always say is, oh, but isn't health food isn't it more expensive? Yes, it's more expensive, but I wouldn't say
necessarily.
Not necessarily either.
I don't even think like that.
No. I don't think like it either. It's different than getting a $2 burger and fries from a fast food place. Yeah. Or getting buy two, get one free Pop-Tart containers, You're
going to pay more for your hospital bills, your health insurance, your prescription pills, your statins that you're going to be on.
The pharmacy's going to
quote high cholesterol and your heart medication.
Do you take any? Taylor just turned 25, by the way. Happy birthday, Taylor. You'll be surprised because I've been around a lot of people our age in the hospital systems. Do you take any prescription medication for stuff that is health related? Like,
never.
There you go. And do you know who? I'm curious to get the stat on this. How many? I volunteer at a retirement home. Once every week or 2 weeks. The amount of meds it just sucks. Like, there's no reason at any age you should be taking 10 pills just so your body can somehow wake up and function during the day. For me, it's a little different right now. I'm taking 3 different prescription meds for my my reconstructed bladder, my reconstructed ureter, and my kidneys.
Yeah.
Because I have to, otherwise I'll be
That's
back in the
different.
hospital. That's different than taking a blood pressure med, a cholesterol med, maybe a med to help prevent, strokes or any other. There's so many different things, but it's one of those quotes you hear a lot, Taylor. You probably heard this. Are you going to invest time and money in your health now? Because if you don't, you're going to invest in it later. And you're going to invest time and money into your
You're gonna invest money in a
disease.
You don't want to
Exactly. So
later.
I just get a little frustrated when I hear people say, "Oh, I don't, nah, it's too pricey." Oh my God, it's really not though. Like that'd be cool sometime if you and I just on our own just took a little couple of video clips and posted on the stories on our own social media about what we got at the store and maybe shot a little picture of the receipt.
Oh yeah.
And just to
I love that
show
stuff.
how feasible it really is, especially for two 25-year-olds who are trying to make it in this adult world. We're not millionaires yet.
$50 can get you a lot of
Oh
stuff.
my
Even
gosh,
if
so
you have-
much.
Even if you have to just bite the bullet and chomp on your ego a little bit and go to Aldi. I personally don't shop at Aldi, but if
There's
you need
nothing wrong with it.
affordable shit, even though their zucchinis are kind of fucking Aldi. If you need,
All that produce
if you
is.
need, Sprouts is the way to go, people. Go to Sprouts. But
Sprouts, and even I can get more food for less money easily at Sprouts and Trader Joe's than I can at our Price Chopper,
Oh,
our
yeah.
Hy-Vee, and especially Whole Foods. I love Whole Foods. I don't go there every time I go grocery shopping. I go there for specific supplements.
yeah, I use like $7
But-
for a
oh
pound of
my
blueberries. Whereas
gosh.
Sprouts is like $2.
I can
like
get-
$4 for
Yeah,
organic blueberries even.
Taylor and I go to the Sprouts just down the street from this amazing, studio we have here that's
Yeah.
gonna get pimped up eventually. But the amount of food he and I can
Black
get
lights.
there, I
Some
know,
black
dude.
lights.
Oh, it just beams of light on us. Oh,
Black lights.
yeah, dude, that'd be sick. Smoke machines, But
We could have the smoke like clear out, and then the podcast starts.
oh,
We
dude.
can do that.
Oh man, we're too cool. I know. But the amount of food that you can get in one paper bag they have there, and the amount of food I can get for the how affordable it is, it's just silly. Whereas if I get a full paper bag from Price Chopper, filled to the rim with food, it's way more. It's usually twice as much for me. I go to Trader Joe's or Sprouts almost every time I shop now because it's good, high quality food, and it's not going to be a dent in my wallet, my Ridge wallet. We were just talking about that earlier. But yeah, I agree. So basically, the point is, I think we don't need to really talk about the pricing anymore. But that's just an excuse. It's not valid. Unless you're literally homeless and you have $2 to survive, which is
Right.
probably no one listening or watching this. Yeah, so are there anything else that you, Taylor, that you eat or you consume that are like food-based or natural supplements besides the ones we'll get into that are more widely considered supplements like
I mean, this is
capsules
a
or
major,
powders?
Those are the major ones I think people can really benefit from. Bone broth. I add collagen powder to that for added benefit. Bone broth, beef liver,
Okay.
or any type of organ meat in general. I think that's one thing I do want to talk about real quick.
Yeah, go for it,
Is
dog.
we've really been taught, especially in Western culture, that organ meats are gross for whatever reason. I'll put quotations around gross.
Yeah,
because-
everyone thinks no one eats it.
yeah, they do have a different taste, but organ meats are some of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, believe it or not. Way more nutrient-dense than acai. Acai is great, but
Or just, Thanksgiving was what, 2 months ago? Way more nutrient dense than just having
turkey.
turkey breast.
I hate turkey.
But that's my point though. Like
Yeah.
the general animal meats
Oh,
and products that Americans eat are, one thing. But if you include some organ meats, like you
Fish,
said,
too.
the nutrient density is just silly better. And
Well,
that's
there's
a
some
good
fish
thing.
too. Like there's a lot of people that aren't into eating red meat, but that are pescatarian or whatever. There's a lot of fish out there, wild salmon, specifically wild salmon. There's salmon roe, which is salmon eggs, which is super high in DHA,
Mhm.
which is really good for your brain.
And DHA is in most fish oil supplements, is
DHA
right?
is in fish oil supplements.
But it's different than what the actual form of
Yeah.
salmon eggs.
Absolutely. Oysters as well. Oysters are super high in most nutrients, especially like zinc, which you need for testosterone production and libido and stuff like that.
Yeah, just really quick on the topic of fish and high, good fish, like stuff that's not farm raised fish or anything like that is, so for me, the doctors and nutritionists who are working with me to kind of recover my chronic illness, they do tell me once or twice a month to include a high quality fish just to throw it in there for anything I might be missing. So I eat, 98% of the month a plant-based diet, but I do get wild caught salmon or any other kind of high quality fish, maybe a really nice sushi or something. But I don't get a farm raised fish. I don't get tilapia. I don't get canned fish.
Corn fed. Yeah.
As people know, that generic cliche is always full of mercury. Well, it's true. It's true. Yeah. And a lot of farm fish is, first of all, it's just freaky to farm fish. That just doesn't sound right. And a lot of people, including some of my doctors and the holistic nutritionist who's working with me, and a lot of people in different countries. Maybe one day, hopefully, we get some international listeners. Mm-hmm. But like I was listening. This is really funny. I was just at the gas station earlier today, and two of the cashiers there at different parts of the day are actually from India. And a lot of people who follow like the Ayurvedic yogic diet, they always say they try to eat animal products that are as far away from human beings, meaning like fish and things from the sea, look nothing and are physically nothing like humans, whereas like cows or chickens are. I thought that was really interesting to hear about that. Yeah. And they do that because they eat a lot of vegetarian food, but they include those nice high quality fish and stuff to get some of the nutrients and vitamins and minerals that Taylor's been talking about, which I think is super interesting. And like I said, I was talking about this to Taylor off recording, off camera, is you just gotta be careful Taylor and I haven't heard any of this one time and we just believed it. Yeah.
You do some research.
I think, and I think being open-minded is the best with anything in life.
Open-minded but skeptical.
Exactly. Like just because you believe something doesn't mean it's a fact. I pulled up YouTube earlier today to upload a video for our podcast, and one of the suggested videos was an Impact Health Theory podcast video from Tom Bilyeu, the founder of Quest Nutrition. Yeah. He had a guy on there, which is ironic because we were talking about a little bit today.
Quest bars, if you have the sprinkled donut.
I haven't. Microwave those though, dude. But he had a guy on there on his podcast today, kind of interview show / podcast. The title of it was "Why You Should Not Eat Primarily a Carnivore Diet." And so you see that, and immediately most people will be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna ever do that." Or they see someone like me who is getting really healthy in a plant-based diet, and they're like, "Oh, I'm never gonna eat anything that's not a fruit or vegetable or plant form." Or there's just so many clickbait things out there, where you just don't rely on everything. You know what I'm trying to say?
The problem is people,
because they'll listen to this podcast, then they'll see related podcasts, and they'll be like, "Oh, but they're talking." You gotta also try. You gotta know what works for you, but just don't believe everything. There's some really legit sources out there, but I would, for me, for a long time, I didn't even fathom eating an animal product, because I just thought my way was the only healthy way possible. It's how you live past 100 and stuff. But I didn't look at both sides of the story. I wasn't vegan my whole life. I just started turning into a whole food plant-based diet when I was 16, but I didn't look at both sides of the story and why certain nutritionists and doctors are saying this and why the people on the other side are saying that. And that really helped me with my overall health and just variety and viewpoint on nutrition. I think that's ideal for everyone.
You got to do some of your own research on this stuff. You have to do some of your own. You have to be kind of your own test dummy. Because we can say stuff. People want something that works now. Like, what can I do right now? And I think there's
don't eat processed foods.
Boom. We've given you guys a bunch of quick solutions of things that you guys can do for beginners, for that matter.
Yes.
But for anybody in general. I mean, even professional athletes. I mean, you look at guys at the high level, even guys like Conor McGregor. Their diet, their meals they're very clean. Like they're very nutrient dense, but they're very clean. They're not eating sprinkled donuts and shit like that.
You know what's interesting is I heard a video. One of my buddies from San Diego was telling me this. A former NBA player who was a teammate of LeBron James and was a senior at Xavier when Xavier's a college in Ohio. LeBron was a senior in high school in Akron, so they're close. he would come watch LeBron because everyone was like, oh, this kid's the best high school player ever. And he would stay post game and go pregame sometimes and see like be around the team, LeBron's high school team. They would have pregame like pizza and like any teenagers, most teenagers. Well, he said LeBron was off eating his own prepared meals, eating fruits and vegetables, as an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And the point of that was this guy he was on Undisputed, that sports talk show in the morning. He was saying, I don't think it's a coincidence why he's still just a freak in nature and one of the best athletes on the planet at the age of 35.
Yeah.
At 18, he was prioritizing his health.
That speaks to the fact that you shouldn't be afraid to be an outlier with anything
No,
you do
no.
in life.
Hey,
You know, if there's something you want to do, you should just go do that thing and try it. I mean, in regards to diet or fitness or whatever career you want to try.
we're talking about anything like
Like
mental health or health. Yeah, exactly.
Fuck it, we want to do a podcast.
Look about-
Let's just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Look about the people that we as a society, society's not even a thing, it's just a made up name. But look at the people who are the most well known and the people that people look up to. The people we idolize are the ones that stand out the most.
Yeah.
Think of any well known figure in any industry on the planet, they're not like everyone else. And that should be all you need to hear right there. I mean, and one key thing for that, with your fitness, with your nutrition, and your mental health, like everything we talk about on the show, is you just gotta, I highly recommend working on not caring what other people think. Because why would you let other people's opinions dictate how you live your life? That's the ultimate form of slavery. So, like Tanner's talking about what he does for his natural and like food form supplements to his main nutritional life and stuff. There's going to be people who probably tell him, oh, dude, that's dumb, or you're weird, you eat beef liver or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, it works for him. I stopped me from cussing, but I remember we can cuss on this. But
Yeah, we can.
people shit on my diet and lifestyle, a plant-based diet, especially people at the couple different gyms I would go to. But it works for me, and guess what? I'm out lifting you, dude.
Yeah.
I just owned you at the barbell, dude. So you can keep eating that meat and
That's one of the reasons why I think this is so cool, because Jack and I both have different nutritional backgrounds.
correct.
like you said.
Different in a sense, our specificities of our nutrition is different, but
Different
the
things work for us.
same in we eat a whole food diet.
Yeah.
We don't eat anything that out of a wrapper
Yeah.
to almost all the time, to an
Yeah,
extent
like
of
West bars.
yeah, but nothing with
West bars.
ingredients
No,
that look and sound like a chemical. Nothing with
No
tons of
Reese's
ingredients.
Pieces, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of those hydrogenated oils. I used to eat all that kind of food. Jif peanut butter back when I was a kid. Oh man, it's so bad.
That's one of the biggest
But
things.
that's the one thing Tanner and I have in common is we eat whole foods, minimally processed. The specific main components to Taylor's nutrition during his day-to-day life are different than mine. But guess what? I feel healthy and amazing. I'm recovering. Taylor feels healthy and amazing. He's recovering. I'm willing to bet if I include some of the stuff that Taylor really swears by and likes for him, it's not going to make me unhealthy or feel worse. I guarantee it'll work for me. But like we talked about a lot, Taylor, someone who is 6'5", I'm 225 right now. Some other 25-year-old out there's another 25-year-old out there, 6'5", 225. To have him eat every exact thing I eat, he might not benefit as much. There might be something wrong with him or her with their health. That's the point. Is I think there's a little bit of wiggle room for everyone.
Yeah.
But I think that's really interesting because Taylor is on one end of the nutrition health spectrum, if that's what you're gonna call it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anyone's gonna disagree about the way Taylor and I consume food, whole foods, minimally processed. That's not unhealthy. I think we can all agree on that. Taylor's main components to his diet are different than mine, but he feels great. He's a physical specimen. I feel great. I'm getting stronger, gaining weight. It works for us. So
We should touch on some supplements in the form of,
I agree.
pills and that type of thing.
So for, like I said,
Pills,
pills, dude, which kind of sounds sketch,
No.
but
No,
we'll say capsules.
conventional supplements.
So I use Keon amino acid powder. That's one I love.
Essential aminos.
Exactly.
Great supplement. We talked about that.
I also do a liquid form of B12 and zinc, and those are the three. And in the wintertime, I do vitamin D. So I'm not going to include vitamin D because I only do that like 3 months out of the year.
Yeah.
But on a daily basis, the three non-food supplements, if that's what you kind of base it down to, is I do every morning on an empty stomach, I do a liquid form of B12, which I just get from Amazon. I do a liquid form of zinc, and then I do the Kion amino acid powder 20 to 30 minutes before my workouts, and the rest is just food. And every once in a while, I might include a post-workout, you know, maybe nice, not super processed filler protein powder, but not really that much anymore. I don't do pre-workouts anymore. All that pre-workout powder that just gets your, oh man.
Yeah.
Point is, those are the three that I do every single day. And it's, I will add some here and there. Recently I've started to add some heavy metal, some of these supplements that kind of get rid of all the heavy metals in your body. I include them in my smoothie in the morning. But those are the three go-tos for me, is the B12 liquid, the liquid zinc, and the Kion amino acid supplement. And then I think you maybe want to touch on yours, and then we can go into a little more general with it. But what do you take that's the general supplement that people think
General
of?
supplements, I don't take a lot of things. I take here and there, I take fish oil, I take Nordic Naturals, they're a really great brand.
Great brand.
You can go on their website and actually request documentation of their testing for PCBs and mercury and things along those lines. So you can do that. They're a great company, Nordic Naturals. And then I take a vitamin D3K2 in the winter, specifically in late December, January, February.
That's the same exact that I do.
Otherwise, I'm outside a lot in the summer. That's
Correct.
a priority for me.
Same exact vitamin D.
And
Go ahead.
sunlight. I also take magnesium at night before bed. Not every single night.
I use
It
it.
does make me have to pee a lot, but I take magnesium. Magnesium is really important. Most Americans are not getting enough magnesium. Those are my top three.
Yeah, I mean, I have my top three as well.
I really want to talk a little bit on pre-workouts because
I agree. We opened up that rabbit hole, which I think is
Yeah.
important to talk about before we end this nutrition episode for this one. You know, first of all, just to start off with, if this is just my opinion, if you can't get excited or hyped up enough to go work out, then you really got to work on your motivation or your why. Like if you are relying on a super quick caffeine kick,
milligrams of caffeine,
or whatever else is in pre-workouts, like the stuff that includes your pump during the workout and stuff like that. If you're relying on that just so you can go to the gym and work out, I think you should really consider adjusting your approach to training, to exercise, why you're doing it. You know, I'll admit for 4 or 5 years, I took pre-workout before every training session because I was kind of like what everyone did.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was bad. Whatever, dude. I'm clueless, man. And I would take it pre-training session every time. I almost felt like if I didn't have it, I wasn't going to perform as well, which is funny because that's not the case at all these days. But yeah, I mean, that's just my basic opinion, just off the bat. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Pre-workouts, like, you know, I don't want to call
We
them
shouldn't
companies.
throw
It's
any
not
companies, but pre-workout for people who never even heard about it, because I guarantee there's probably a couple.
Most pre-workouts are mostly caffeine. There's some other
powder
nutrients.
form.
People are chasing that sort of vasodilation effect, that nitric oxide effect, which you can get from certain foods, like beets will help boost your nitric oxide
Big. I
production.
was just about to say that.
Arugula, you know.
Nitric oxide and a couple other things in pre-workouts not only give you that,
They give you that pump.
yeah, they help with, like, you do 10 reps of deadlift and all of a sudden your hamstrings and glutes and lower back are just swole, dude, or bicep curls or anything in the body. But oh man, that's just tough to rely
You
on
can get that
that.
effect with natural foods.
Correct.
Now, most pre-workouts have way too much caffeine, and so much caffeine where it really stresses out your endocrine system and your nervous system.
Well, you know
it's horrible for you. It's horrible for your heart too.
At the vitamin shop when I used to work there was an age limit. If you're 13 or under, you had to buy it with a parent. I think that says it all right there.
Yeah.
I mean, everything Taylor and I have talked about that we take in food supplement form or non-food supplement form, anyone can take it. Pre-workouts though, little kids, hearts, dude, and the amount of, I even have heard of, I was in the ER so many times, people would come over 100 times in the last year and a half. There'd be people every once in a while, the nurses tell me about people coming in from heart palpitations and stuff from too much just caffeine throughout the day. And these are younger people, not adults, not like elderly, you know?
Yeah, another thing too, and I don't know how many people are taking, you know, pre-workouts now, pre-workout supplements rather. A lot of people are drinking those, I'm just gonna call them out, the Bang energy drinks.
Or the C4
Any of those energy drinks in general that have 300 milligram plus of caffeine. It's just not good for you. It's not good for your endocrine system. It's not good for your nervous system. It's horrible for your heart.
The problem is too, once you start doing that, like somewhat consistently, you're gonna, you are very dependent. Like you're gonna feel like you are falling asleep at 10 a.m. if you don't have that, which is can be an issue, especially if you don't have access to it. And plus coming off of it, there's like caffeine in general. If you all of a sudden stop consuming as much caffeine,
coffee,
your headache,
anything.
Dude, that withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah.
Whenever you hear a supplement that causes withdrawal symptoms, it's probably not the best idea. But also in supplements and pre-workouts, the powder pre-workouts and stuff, and the drinks, how many fake processed sweeteners and sugars?
Sucralose, asulfame,
oh, dude, it makes me cringe.
Terrible, not good for you. I mean, sucralose is just, it's just fucking Splenda.
It's worse than that. I mean, oh man. I mean, we should sometime have an episode with, like the stuff we're talking about. We should somehow go to a legit source that talks about just statistics.
Damn.
How many people who have a gym membership include or maybe go to maybe Vitamin Shop has a part of they have some statistics somewhere, or just any supplement store. That'd be interesting to see. But yeah, or we can talk about specific aspects to supplements that are bad and talk about the negative effects of it, like the sucralose and stuff.
A lot of the supplement industry, and we obviously both worked for Vitamin Shop,
and we've taken 1 billion supplements in our own life.
I have no reservation about calling people out on this stuff, and I don't really care what people think, but a lot of it is
just
marketing.
Like I said,
a lot of it is just marketing. You know, I know a lot of these supplement stores, they want you to create the perfect stack for the customer. They want you to sell the pre-workout. They want you to sell it like you need the pre-workout, you need the intra-workout, you need the post-workout, but that's not the case at all. I'm gonna say right now, you don't need the pre-workout, you don't need the intra-workout, you don't fucking need the post-workout.
It's smart to make
it's
money.
Just a supplement marketing scheme.
If you work there, it's a good sales idea. And even online, if you go to any online place to buy supplements, they're gonna, before you place your order, they're gonna say, oh, we also recommend you do this, this, and this. It's gonna be thrown at you online. And like in Vitamin Shop, it's just they're really smart with their sales and marketing. Supplements that aren't very beneficial to your health at all, with very cool logos, placement in the stores. You walk in and there's pre-workout containers just floor to ceiling right in front of your face, and then you see a gigantic jack dude who is in their store. And they're like, what do you take? Oh, I take this. Oh, okay, perfect. So I just nothing that Taylor and I talk about in any of our episodes, you should take for 100%. We're not saying we know our way is the only way, but no one's going to disagree with us who knows anything about
there's
health
a lot
and nutrition.
Of great companies out there. There's a lot of great companies. We mentioned a few. We mentioned Four Sigmatic. We mentioned Organifi, Keon. On it, lots of great companies.
Garden of Life.
Quality. Garden of Life is good.
I love Garden of Life for my particular supplements.
Yeah. A lot of great companies out there.
Correct.
And hopefully you guys can take something away from this episode. I mean, we talked about a lot of topics.
I think like any of these three aspects of the triad of health, there's a lot of great fitness companies, a lot of great nutritional supplement companies and just nutrition companies. There's a lot of great mental health services and companies, but there's also a lot of bad ones. There's a lot of ones that you should not mess with. And I think that's a great takeaway, like you said, for this episode. And no one's perfect. Taylor and I have tried so many different supplements throughout our, physical fitness life since I started when I was 12. I started taking supplements when I was 12. And you live and you learn.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Any last words, famous last words, Taylor, before I rear naked choke you and make you pass out in front of everyone?
That was a good episode. We hope you guys enjoy. We'll be back next week with our episode.
With a mental health episode. Yeah, we will do a couple teaser videos pre-recording of that episode. But
out there.
yeah, it's going to be a mental health episode, and it's going to be really interesting. And like I said before, none of these triads of health subjects are only for a certain demographic. Mental health episode next week isn't only for people with a mental illness. So
Exactly.
decide, commit, act.
See you
Go
guys
be
next
healthy.
week. Alright, out.
Peace. Dude,
Nice one.
thank goodness that worked.
I know. Shit, that's weird.
That was super, dude. That almost just, that would have been hard.
I know.
We wouldn't have been able to finish the episode, and we'd have to call tomorrow.